Hey YouTube. So this is, I think, part 3 maybe, of my cylinder top half rebuild. So what I'm going to show you is a few little tools and a few little tricks to do some of this stuff. And I do not have a GoPro working, so I'm using my phone. So if it's a little crappy, I'm sorry, but at least I'm making videos. So I have my iPhone on a selfie stick stuck in a pipe. So okay, now what I'm going to show you is a couple little tricks on how to clock in your rings, and let's do that right now. So position this down here to what I'm doing. Okay. So basically what I have here is the piston, and when you put the piston in, you gotta put it in a certain way. And right here you can see it says in, and then there's a valve relief here. So what you want to do is make sure that's facing the intake, which would be the back of the cylinder. So what I do is I try to see if I can. What I try to do is find the center. So I have this tool here. I don't know what it's called. It's just a ruler for me, a square. So what I do is I try to find the center point, which is kind of in the, you know, you can see the machine marks in the middle. So what I do is I find that center mark. Draw a line across the top all the way through it. That's my center point, I guess. Another thing is too, is you can't line up, you shouldn't line up your gaps in the wrist pins or basically the combustion area, but I've been told. I don't know if that's true or not. I never really experienced anything like that. But so what you want to do is you don't want to line it up here. So I'll make a little line here and a little line here. And then what I want to do is find the center here in the middle of the piston, like that. Some people do 4 corners. The book recommends 120. So on here, I have easy degrees here. So what I'll do is I'll find 120 degrees, and then I'll find the middle. So I want to go 120 from the middle here. Oh, there's my line. I don't know if that doesn't look right, but 120 from the center. Is that 120? This thing's tight. 120 degrees from there. Okay. Let's see if that's up there. For some reason that doesn't look right, but am I going on the right side? 120 degrees from the center, that's what I'm sure. Oh, 120. Did I pass? Oh, there's 120. That's 160. 120. I don't think that's exactly 120, but how about we just draw a mark? I think you can do it by going across, but it should be somewhere like that, like a peace sign. You can see how my angles are off. It doesn't have to be completely 120 if you want me to really show you. There. That's about 120. I think it's 120 from, I don't know what's point. Probably, what, from that point? From that point. That looks about right. That's about right. Man, you're going from the wrong way. So, 120 that way. Oops. There. That's 120. One of them lines. Anyways, it's just a reference point. So I have these rings here, and these rings are the Honda OEM rings. I wouldn't buy anything else in Honda OEM. And these are pre-gapped, and I believe that's the gap number. I checked with the gapping here. With the gapper, you need a gapper. Or a feeler gauge, that's what that is. This is a valve offset feeler gauge, 16 blades. I think I paid like $5, $6, $8 or something for that. So we'll open this up. And most of the time when you have these, they have identifying marks on them. You got the oil ring, which looks like that. There's a gap, it's marked in red. Then you got the oil ring scrapers, which both look the same. They both look the same. You got two of them. Then you have the second ring, which I don't know if you can see it in here, but right in the corner it has an N. That always needs to be faced up. And it feels like it's magnetized for some reason. Huh. And then this is the first compression ring, which will be shiny in color. If you see the difference of the two, if I hold them up, one's shiny and one's darker. Usually the darker one is the one that goes on the second ring, and the shinier one goes on the top. And they actually have different grooves on them also. If you look closely, this one has like a groove on it, taper, and then this one looks like it has a slight of an angle on it. And remember, the N on both these corners, they always go up. You need to make sure these are facing up. Otherwise you install them wrong, which I already installed one, and hopefully I should probably check it. I don't remember looking at it. But all you got to do is, what you do is you put the first one on, which is the one of the oil rings. All you got to do is kind of stretch it and walk it on there. And what you want to do is you want to line it up with these corners. So let's see. I think I'm gonna line this one up over here, over on this point. And then the second one, this one doesn't have any identifying marks for up or down. But what you want to do is stretch it just a little bit like that. Be careful though, because it will break. Start it in the groove and gradually walk it around. And don't twist it on there. Just, if you have to, pull back on it and then walk it in the first. Okay. And then the second one, we'll do the same way. Put it in the, start it in the groove and walk it down. Sometimes it'll get stuck in the other ring gaps, but there. Now you need a little poker like this. What you need to watch out for is make sure these rings don't overlap the oil ring. There's little, they just butt up. If they cross, they won't work. And you'll find the gap here. You need to make sure that these grooves, you need to make sure these grooves here are like an inch away, or 20, I don't know, 0.20 millimeters away from each other. So you're like staggered. So that one's here, that one's there, and that one's there. So that's okay. That will work. Then I'm gonna put them right in the middle. It's kind of hard to see, but you know what you need to have? You need to have a book, like a Honda like manual, because a lot of this stuff will show you in there what to do. Here's the second ring. We'll put the second ring on, and you do the same thing too. You kind of start it and you walk it on. Be very gentle because they will break. The old ones, when you take them off, you'll notice that they might break because they're tempered and they've heated up. That one, the gap on that, we want to find that one over there, that line over there. And there's a more technical way, but I mean, I just kind of visually, I don't need this here, I just kind of showed you. But just make sure you don't line up the gaps with the wrist pin. And put the N up on this one. Put the N up on this one, and you can just push it and see if it's on there. And the N is up on this one, so walk this one on. And don't twist these that much when you're putting them on. They will break. And these ones are like Honda OEM, so they're like 40 bucks. I think I paid $90 for these. You can get a cheap version for like 20 bucks, but that's up to you. I don't know the difference. Made in Japan, I don't know. It could be the same, but who knows? So there you go. Now your wrist pin here. Now this is one thing to look at too, is like this is a good wrist pin. You can see that there's like, you're supposed to use like a micrometer or whatever, digital readout or whatever hand tool. You're supposed to measure the roundness of this, and the service manual will tell you that. But I don't know. Usually these things have 15 to 20,000 miles on it, and this stuff should be fine. There is excessive wear on one that I had, and you can see the difference in the color. Can you see? Well, it's kind of shiny, but you wear marks on that one. So I think this one's probably either got hot or it's wore. But this one, physically viewing it, looks like it's okay. I'm too lazy to get a battery for my caliper to find out, but so I guess now I'll get my engine all set up and show you guys how to put it together. I'm not that far yet. I still got to get some crap, but all right. So hopefully this is a little viewing on how to put that stuff together, kind of half-ass, I guess. But get a manual. All right.